Alright, we're gonna just talk about these things as we go along. I'm going to go adventuring. Repairing the kit. This is the central square of the graveyard, and the place is full of monsters. We'll have to defend ourselves while Pedro remembers where he left his shovel compass repair kit. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. I'm gonna go throw my stick at it. I left my shovel compass repair kit here, but I don't remember exactly where I left it. Need a few minutes to remember. Careful, monsters are coming. Alright, so this is actually just a survival round. I'm fine with that. Okay, so for those of you that haven't seen me play this, seeing as I'm finally streaming it live, I'm going for big stick build. Which is pretty much, I throw my stick, I throw my sword, and I rinse repeat until enemies are dead or I am dead. It works really well. I also sometimes drop a meteor down. I'm not entirely sure the origin is behind the meteor, but still. Ooh! Specialization, Distinguished Knight, Haphazard Champion, or Enduring Protector. What? Specializations. Press C, Specialization. Okay, choose between 3, each has its own set of passives along with a unique support skill. You can change it at any point. Okay. So there's the Distinguished Knight. The Haphazard Champion, so Polyvalence, Crowd Control, and Totems. Key mechanics is Skewer. When you skewer an enemy, 10% of the damage will be dealt again every time you deal damage to a skewered enemy. An enemy can be skewered 5 times. And we get a support move, which is Banners of War. Last seconds, taunts nearby enemies, has max life. Does grant you +2 life on hit. Haste, and slows enemies. So what else we got? Haphazard Champion gives me Ascension. Jump in the sky, land at target location. Deals damage. That's okay. And lastly, Enduring Protector. Impenetrable Shield. Last seconds. Honestly, I think I'm going to stick with what I've got. Unfortunately, this aura does not have the best of range. Can I get back close to it? No, I can't. Okay. So I might want to switch that out. Maybe. It's the only healing I've got, which does make it kind of worth it. It's just questionable. Here, let's wait until everybody spawns in. Oh, it drops where my hand is, or my cursor is. That's a problem. I guess I'll have to aim it myself. That's the music is a touch loud. I think the whole game is a touch loud. I tried turning it down a little bit. There we go. There we go. Because, yeah, if I play Defend the Banner back here, I get way more HP. So what's this give me? Extra raw damage, extra crit strike chance. That sounds good. What else do I got? Let's see. Seeing as I've spec'd into sword throwing. Don't have a level for mastery. I'm not actually sure if I care to pick that one up, though, so I might just kind of wait. And this one's way too expensive. Okay. Banner there. Now, there are a couple of enemies, but I should be able to just kind of keep running. Yeah, there we go. So, it's not the best healing ever, and I'm going to litter the entire field with flags, which feels a little silly to me. I was really expecting they'd go away. They don't. Well, I guess they generally don't have to. Okay. Yeah, I'd like to hang out near the flag for the extra healing, but I don't think it's actually worth it. Let's see. Anyway, so before I hit the record button, before I started working on these things, we were talking about whether or not I was going to play the Diablo 2 remake, remaster. I guess it's a remaster, because you can still go back to the old version, and I think they straight up just added the modern graphics on top of the, like, visibly on top of the, Actually, here. I'm going to do that just for taunting. Because I think it's better that I actually just have them taunted in one place. But yeah, so I've been kind of grumpy at Blizzard lately. From not paying their workers well, firing a bunch of people, and giving them... I believe it was straight up like WoW store credit. Or not WoW store credit, just the Blizzard store credit. As like kind of a parting bonus. Which like, okay. You know what? It costs them next to nothing and it's a nice gesture. But at the same time, they just fired a bunch of people. Like, that just comes off as tacky more than anything else. And so, I don't know. My opinion of them has been, I think, dropping for ages. Pfft, thank you, Meteor. That's a convenient Meteor. Wave, 8 out of 12. Wow. Alright, that's fine. This actually might be a really good level for grinding. But like, I was a huge Blizzard fanboy growing up. Like, there's no denying the amount of time that I put into Diablo 2. And the time that I put in, I loved dearly. Same thing with StarCraft, like, Diablo 2, StarCraft custom maps, and then Warcraft 3, once I hit high school. Like, those were the only games that I generally played. I didn't really get into anything else. Let's see, there's a mage class, right? Yes, there's a mage and there's a ranger class. Ooh. Okay. Just leave them with that for a second. Huh. I'm not getting taunted as much. It's a bit tragic. Then again, that big knight isn't actually threatening. But, so... Was it Viacom that had bought them out? It was either Viacom or Vivendi or something. But all I remember is that, like, there's a period of time where Blizzard had gotten picked up by another corporation. And that's when everybody kind of was like, oh man, this is going to be the end of Blizzard. And then they managed to buy themselves back out. I think mostly just Bobby Kotick did that. But effectively dumped a lot of money to gain controlling... like a controlling share of just Blizzard in general. And Activision. Again, to set them free. It was Vivendi. Okay. And it was just like the saddest thing because effectively nothing changed. If anything, they got worse. That it was like, I think they tasted the poisoned chalice of profits. Or they. Bobby Kotick plus like whoever else was in charge. And so it quickly became more of a like how much can we like eke out of our products with doing, I'm not gonna say the bare minimum, because they definitely, like, Overwatch is great and Hearthstone is probably good. I don't know enough about Hearthstone. You're going to laugh. I remember now. I brought my shovel compass repair kit back to the village a few days ago, so it's in my cabin. Well, we can go back to the village. You're going to laugh. Let's see, another, both owned by Activision, right? Yeah. So Activision handles the back-end business, and Blizzard makes the games. With the exception of Call of Duty and maybe a couple other Activision products. But it's like, it's painfully clear whenever I, like, hear about Blizzard nowadays. It's just like, yeah, no, it's not the same company anymore. Now we just have to reach the crypt of the McRips to unearth the destroyer of indestructible and unbreakable seals. The crypt is located at the far end of the graveyard, and we'll have to cross very dangerous areas to reach it. Let's get going. Alright, let's first actually put some points into things. And equip stuff, because this is better. I think extra elemental damage. I'm not actually sure if that applies here. Because that's skill damage. That applies bleed. Skill damage. I don't know if I can do elemental damage. If I do, it's something else. Even their marketing decisions have been kind of off. Yeah. And it's one of those where it's like, I'd love to give the company the benefit of the doubt, but it's like, it's painfully clear that it's not the same company anymore. And it has no real intention of ever going back. And so I'm pretty cool with just like generally, I'm not going to say low-key boycotting Diablo or Blizzard products, but like just not playing them generally. A little detour. The shuffle compass indicates a breach in this area. We might as well make a detour to destroy it before heading back to the crypt of the McRips. We may also find a new villager there. Hey! Yeah, Overwatch is still good, it's just not what a lot of people wanted it to turn out being. Started out one way, and about 2 years ago they pivoted and alienated a lot of players. That's a shame. The shovel compass is going haywire. There must be a breach nearby. You should destroy it. And like, this is very much like a loose boycott. Like, this isn't like, I'm going to refuse to play Blizzard games ever. They haven't hit that point yet. But they've lost a lot of immediate goodwill. So, I don't think I'm going to be a day one adopter for a lot of their games. Well, I might, but I might not be the fanboy that I once was. Like, I know with Overwatch, I got in early with a lot of other people just because that's kind of, it was the thing to do and a lot of people were doing it at the time. Especially, like, within my friend group. So it's kind of like, okay, sure, I'll pick it up. But, as, like, a content creator, I'm definitely going to be a little bit more like, I don't know about Blizzard. Like, you know, wait until the reviews, so on and so forth, and go from there. Oh, that reminds me. I forgot to do something fairly important today. Anyway, when it boils down to it with the whole Blizzard Diablo thing, like, there are better Diablo-style games out there now. Like, Grim Dawn is fantastic. Path of Exile is amazing. Let's see. I mean, there's this. There's, Last Epoch, which I've been meaning to play. I've got it installed, and I've been meaning to put time into it. Because that evokes a lot of the same feelings. It's not exactly a Diablo-style game, but I've also been playing Outriders on my own. I was considering streaming it, but it seems like it's kind of a long game. Hades is in no way, shape, or form Diablo-style. Like, the only similarity between Hades and Diablo is the camera angle, and that's it. Otherwise, they are completely different beasts, and I'm glad for it because I don't know. I think if Supergiant put their heads to making a looter dungeon crawler Diablo style game, I feel like they could make it amazing. But why? They're better off making like shorter, sweeter, more interesting experiences. But it's like, it's easy to bemoan the loss of Blizzard, or the loss. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, like, it wasn't necessarily a loss. It was a slow bleed of what made it good, which is fine, because ultimately what ends up happening is... Let's see. What ends up happening with the slow bleed is so many of those employees, the people that made Blizzard good once upon a time, so many of them have spread out across the industry, started their own studios, made really interesting games. And, you know, many of them might not be in the industry anymore, but they've inspired enough that it doesn't really matter. Even if it's one of those that it's like, yeah, it would have been nice if Blizzard had survived, but that's the same thing with, like, Westwood, or Black Isle, or BioWare, or... Well, I guess Black Isle and BioWare, I think, are actually the same company, or were? It's like, I will be sad about their loss, but, you know, after losing, I don't know, you know, with Black Isle's absence, we got Larian Studios, and Obsidian, and a couple others. Like, it's just is what it is. When a business gets too big that they stop listening to their customers and they start listening to QA. I wouldn't say QA, I'd say starts listening to marketing. It's when, so this is actually a really common practice within the games industry of, the studio hits it big, and they start hiring other people to fulfill, you know, side roles. Let's go with Binding of Isaac as an easy example. So Binding of Isaac, originally made by, I want to say, 2 guys, plus like a little bit of extra support here and there. But with Rebirth, Afterbirth, and so on and so forth, it quickly became obvious that, like, Macmillan did not want to take on the responsibility of making a game largely by himself anymore, so he hired Nicalis to run support and help build the game, and publish it and a bunch of other things. And I mean, Nicalis is no stranger to controversy. They're apparently quite a garbage publisher, and according to Macmillan, they've changed, but who knows? There's definitely kind of the thing where, like, if you are financially incentivized to change your opinion, many people will. You know, they might not actually believe in the words that they're saying or the actions that they now take, but because it is the route to them being able to put food on the table, continue doing what they're doing, many people will straight up, yeah, just conform to whatever public demands. And most of the Diablo 2 team went off to work on Path of Exile. Yup. I really gotta sit down and actually finish Path of Exile at some point. I really would like to, it's just... unfortunately, Diablo likes tend to be a little bit of, metric kryptonite on Twitch and YouTube. I want to do like a hardcore race. That's gonna be my thing. Is probably when the remake comes out, I'll probably snag a bunch of people to do like a cooperative hardcore Diablo race to the end. But if you die, you're out of this series. And see if people can actually get to the end. And I would probably try and come up with the most absolutely durable build ever so I don't die. But so, you know, in the case of the Binding of Isaac Macmillan thing, you know, he's brought on other people. And so for a lot of devs, when they start taking on more responsibility, they hire other people, fill out the team, so on and so forth. I feel like that's a reference to Hades, with them going, meh, probably is, actually. Whew. But let's see. But so many people that found studios, like, they're just developers, or they're like an ideas man or something. They're very rarely business people that form a studio. It's kind of like, who's a legendary developer? I mean, I guess we could say Macmillan. I don't think he's really much of a businessman. Oh, Notch. There's one. Notch was a developer. Honestly, I don't think Notch even meant for Minecraft to become what it became. But once Minecraft became too big to handle, he straight up just sold it to Microsoft and bailed. And you know what? I'm fine with that, especially with, like, how he's turned out. Because holy shit, if Notch was still in charge of Minecraft, it probably would have lost much of its player base just because. Let's see. Path of Exile 2 is set to release in January 2022. Cool. I might just put in the time and do like a quote-unquote full series with the next league and just put it up on YouTube regardless of metrics. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. Just to say that I've played through Path of Exile. Because like I said in the first video that I did of Slormancer, I really want to sit down and actually play every single Diablo-style game in existence and then, kind of compare and contrast and talk about why they're good. But anyway, so Notch bailed. He wasn't a business guy, and honestly, he's the kind of person that likes to switch between weird experimental game after weird experimental game. The idea of supporting a game for much of his life, I don't think really appealed to him to begin with. But obviously, since Minecraft was so crazy popular, I don't think he really had a choice. And this is often true. Like, I was talking to this Spelunky guy, and he said, like, the beginning of his dev career was kind of like a fever dream of, like, passion and development and whatnot. And now that he's older, it's a lot more relaxed, and admittedly, Spelunky turned out great. 1 and 2. But the subsequent games, it's kind of like the pressure to make the game goes away. And even I have this kind of with YouTube, that there's a honeymoon period of making anything. And once you're out of that honeymoon period, the motivation drops a little bit. And then it becomes kind of more of a slog, especially once it's kind of business. You know, early on, many developers are just there because they had an idea and they wanted to see it through, and it was their baby. But oftentimes, like, subsequent games might not have the same level of creative ambition and inspiration. It's why you see a lot of one-hit wonder developers that make a game and then fade to obscurity because the motivation is gone. Okay, reduce the cooldown time? Yeah. Because I think the other one just makes it destroy projectiles. Which is good. Just not necessarily what I'm going for. Let's see. But so a lot of devs, instead of just pushing through or doing the things that they don't want to do, I guess another thing, I don't like editing that much. Eventually I will hire an editor. I don't want to right now just because, but I probably actually should, because that would make me an insane amount of, or free up an insane amount of time and make my life just 1,000 times easier. Shit, maybe I'll have to contact my my network rep, because she said she had a couple that I could just immediately pull from. Because I would not mind having an editor to do most of my work for me. Yeah, if I could just send off my footage at the end of the day and be like, here you go. Just slap these together into a bunch of 40-minute episodes. 30 to 40 minute, kind of depends a little bit. But even then, it also only takes me about an hour every couple of nights. It's just annoying. I don't know. Anyway, but like, I don't like editing, and so me hiring an editor would be nice, but it's invariable that having another person in the mix changes how the business operates. And so if you are a developer that hires like a business person to run the company instead, while you focus on the development side, there is going to be that baseline pressure of, this is a business now. This isn't just, you know, some guys in a garage making a game for the fun of it. This is something that's potentially going to have shareholders. This is going to be something that, you know, is going to draw a fan base and needs to be curated, put on storefronts, marketed, so on and so forth. The meteor crater is the astral strike effect, right? Yeah. I think it only triggers when beginner's luck is at 100%, but I could be wrong. Yep. Pretty sure that's exactly the case. And the plus side, the sales from Minecraft probably set Notch up so you can make whatever he wanted for a very long time. Yeah, unfortunately, Notch decided instead he wanted to be filthy rich and post garbage on the internet for a while. Thank you for getting me out of this mess. I'll see you back in the village. Paul Strang, Chamberlain. Okay, that's a thing. It would have been really cool if Notch had actually said, like, oh man, I'm filthy rich. I'm going to found, like, 10 studios and have them make 10 different games. Like, I can't necessarily blame a person for effectively making a shit ton of money and wanting to retire mad early, but I can blame a person for retiring mad early and then going full... I mean, honestly, I think he is straight up like a Nazi sympathizer at this point, or something insane like that. I haven't paid attention in a long time, but the last time I looked, I was just like, ugh. Let's see, elemental resistance, crit strike damage. Maybe, yeah. Let's go up. I don't need to just go raw damage, though it's nice. Let's see, what else we got? Ooh, 25 raw damage on that. That's the good stuff. Okay, so he is actually full-bore Nazi at this point. That's a shame. Because, like, in another world and in another life, it would have been really cool if the dude was like, man, I'm filthy rich. Thanks, Microsoft. And then devoted much of his life to trying to incubate subsequent Minecraft likes. My name is Palstrang. I'm putting the service of the king. Normally, I'm in charge of the administration of the village and make sure everything is running smoothly. Like other pudding, I have a Slormatificer's talents, and with the help of Pedro's shovel compass, I think I'll be able to help you. If you're interested, I can show you areas where the presence of enemies is particularly intense. They must be important for Oh My God if he mobilizes troops there. If you wish, you can go into the indicated region and regain control of the area. Come talk to me if you want to leave on an expedition. Ooh. Okay. Expeditions let you go to new and unexplored random areas. From this menu, you can choose where you want to go and apply a different difficulty level wrath that suits you. And only one choice. Okay. Okay, so closed breaches, no rewards in case of defeat, no penalty in case of defeat. Unlimited floors, you can leave with 5 or more breaches left. Customizable wrath, cataclysms available. Okay. Choose the wrath level. So, this is mad easy. But it looks like I have to free Elmarolis to unlock new wrath levels. So I think I'm going to leave that till later. It's kind of like what the Five Nights at Freddy's creator did. He helps people to make Five Nights at Freddy's like, last I heard. See, that's so much cooler. Last I heard from Nachi is depressed and lonely. I mean, go figure. Dude effectively cut himself off of what made, I guess kind of what made him. Probably most of his friends and coworkers moved to, I think he moved to Beverly Hills in a mansion, and then, yeah, just doesn't have friends. Now that the shovel compass is fixed, we can go to the crypt of the McRips, which is the far end of the graveyard. A long road awaits us, starting with this grim area, which seems to be in the grip of a strange power. Yeah, we might as well unlock the rest of the town before I do, let's see, before I do any expeditions. What a strange feeling. There's a curious evil rampant around here. I'm feeling all bloated. Some areas are affected by a cataclysm, a modifier to the rules of the environment that increases the difficulty. Beware. My projectiles are slower. Boy. That's a fresh hell, but that's okay. I don't know about the rest of you. I don't think I could stand working on something like Minecraft, a game that never ends. Personally, I would prefer something like God of War. It's done when it's done, or it's whole and complete. I would say God of War doesn't necessarily feel like it's whole and complete, considering they keep teasing future titles. But yeah, I totally can understand that mentality. That I think there is kind of the allure of a perpetual game, but like I dabble in writing on my own. Well, I guess I do a lot of things that are just kind of random. But I dabble with writing on my own. I can barely even stick to one story, and I haven't even finished anything. You know, I'll do it for like a D&D campaign just because that works better. You know, I'm vastly incentivized to finish the campaign as opposed to just stop early. So obviously, sometimes reality just has other ideas. My own meteors hurt me. Nope. But having a game that you can stop when you want and say, yes, this is done, this feels good, is real nice. There's definitely a number of games that I feel like almost should and would benefit from being perpetual. I guess on the topic of Supergiant, I feel like a number of Supergiant games would actually benefit from hefty post-launch support. Largely, I would say Transistor needs a follow-up or a sequel just because it felt like there should have almost been like a new game run that had like a perfect ending instead. And added some of the cut content, because like some of the villains straight up killed themselves off camera, and I'm not sure if that was an intentional thing or if it was a budgetary issue. But it was kind of annoying. But like, even from a YouTube perspective, I pretty much refuse to play games that are endless anymore. And if I do, I usually stop kind of early to preserve my enthusiasm for a game instead. Like, I'm pretty sure if I played Binding of Isaac as much as Alexa, Northern Lion, Huts, and like a bunch of other guys, like, if I played that much Binding of Isaac, I would have lost my mind. 400 episodes on Scrap Mechanic was more than enough for me to say never again. And so now I'm much more comfortable just bouncing back and forth between like new and interesting things. Until I've lost interest. And it's so much more comfortable for me. And I feel like it fits a better niche than just playing a game forever. Because I don't know how many of you guys are on Twitter or have seen on Twitter, but I've gotten a couple of minor accolades lately, specifically for, like, if you're marketing a game, contact these YouTubers. And it's like me, Splattercat, Nucrium, Northern Lion, there's a couple, oh, Raptor, and there's like a couple others. And, you know, it's very flattering to end up on those lists, and I feel like that is a better niche for me to exist in, and devote my time to than spending all of my time on, say, Minecraft, for example. Seeing as we're still on that topic. And I have a lot of respect for people that can go hard on Minecraft. But I think I'd need more variety than I currently can get out of Minecraft. Let's see. Since Five Nights at Freddy's was his final effort at being a game developer, Scott probably sympathizes with indie developers. And Five Nights at Freddy's likes creators. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. If I made like $1 billion, I think I would save $1 million for myself, put that into investments, or maybe a couple of million. Effectively make it so that no matter what decisions I make in life, I can just live off of the dividends, and then just be a potato man, while throwing whatever remaining money I have at really interesting games that I think are cool. And then probably actually start a publishing house. Not too far off of, like, what Devolver does. Let's see. Being for variety must feel pretty good sometimes, knowing that you can just mix things up and it won't hurt you a lot. Yep. There's a couple of downsides. Namely, the big problem is I can't play popular games. Most people just tune out on them. You can even see this on YouTube right now. I'm playing Monster Hunter Rise. Great game. I love it to death. No one really wants to watch that in comparison to, you know, a random new indie game. And you know what? I'm totally fine with that, just because that makes it kind of my special thing that I'm just like, you know, I don't care what viewership numbers I sit on today. Today is just the day that I play a bunch of Monster Hunter with fans, and that feels good. But a small part of me is still just kind of like, yeah, but I could play this new other indie game instead. And actually, you know, have more people watching. It's a little hard to have a lot of my, like, self-worth and immediate confidence tied to metrics on the internet. Because, like, if that drops too much, I get sad. And so you might notice some days, like, if I'm playing a game, I guess recently was Quintera, which wasn't exactly a metrics thing. I think there were a decent amount of people watching, but it was, like, it was dwindling. But there was this feeling of just, like, no one's talking, and I'm pretty sure it's because no one's really that interested in this game. And so I was just, like, getting a little morose over the course of it. But it was kind of okay, because the game itself was getting kind of boring, so it was easy to just move on and go from there. I feel the metrics thing. It's rough, and, like, there's no good solution to it apart from just kind of, like, working through it and mitigating it where and when possible. I gotta get rid of these archers so I don't get mulched. Not that I'm taking a whole lot of damage on these runs. Well, that was quick. Thank you, Meteor. They're probably fans of particular AAA titles of specialized YouTubers to tune in to get that fix of the game. Yup. And, so that's kind of the downside to being a variety act, is that, like, there are long periods of times where the only things I have to play are the popular games, or just, like, random old stuff, which actually can work. It's part of the reason why I started playing Bloons recently. I mean, one, I'm an avid fan of the tower defense genre. Speaking of, I should probably play some more Bloons soon, because I think I'm out of episodes. I'm not going to be able to fit it in today, but still. But there are absolutely these, like, frustrating dry spells where no indie developers release their games. And so I'm constantly just sitting there spinning my wheels, being like, man, what do I play today? I think I'm coming out of the other side of that mentality and have figured out some better coping mechanisms. Namely, just saying, screw it, I'm just going to play something. Instead of, like, trying to search for a game that will do well, I just commit to one and say, like, metrics be damned. And if after 3 hours nobody's interested, okay, maybe then I switch. But even then, like, I try not to let the entertainment mercenary define my content too much. I've met some people that do that, and it sounds horrible. Where the only things they play are the things they know that are going to do well, and they don't actually care. You see this with a lot of, I'm not going to call them hype YouTubers, but the ones with the face cams, and the, like, overblown reactions, and often the slightly more juvenile games. Like, I've met a couple of people and talked to them on a more, like, private side of things, and a lot of them actually really do believe in the content that they're making, which is awesome, because the alternative is, there's a number of them that I've met who are just like, yeah, I just do this, this is my job. And so, like, whenever they're super hyped up, it's just like, there's nothing there behind all of that. That's just them acting super hard. I could never do that. You'll know when I'm acting, because I sound fake as hell. It's part of the reason why I'm super bad at being bad in Project Winter. Let's see. Isn't that when you go back to that ever-growing list of games that you need to get around to, too? Sort of. The main problem is I'm really afraid of getting committed to a game that's going to take, like, 30 hours to complete. So, I really want to go back to finish Atelier Ryza 2. Great game. Love it dearly. But we're probably, like, still 20 hours out from beating that game, if not more. And, like, that's... I think as long as I'm stuck in lockdown, because I'm, like, one of the last people in my state that's probably going to get vaccinated... maybe not one of the last. It's not like I'm putting it off, it's just like, I know I don't go outside, so there's not really a whole lot of reason for me to rush it. Let's see. But, so, as long as I'm stuck in lockdown, I'm especially going to be focusing on the, like, variety is the spice of life. I think I'm still going to be like that for at least a little while. Just because, like, there's so little going on in my life that I've, like, actively... been pursuing more variety to, like, counterbalance it, which is good. Let's see. The way to fix that is to be very sincere about the things you're doing in deception games. It's true. I don't know. I think what I'm trying to do is actually come off as slightly more insincere, so that I have a benefit of the doubt. Which, unfortunately, I don't know if you guys were watching Paper Pirates earlier, but, like, instantly everybody was just like, Wander's the bad guy, and I'm like, no, I'm not. But because I've had such a track record of being bad recently, I, like, can't escape my own reputation now. It's okay, though. Let's see. I know this is a reach. What if you did Dungeon Defenders 2 with a group of your friends? I'd probably do it with my brother and Shell again. What I'm probably going to do is contact my brother in like a week or two and see if he wants to do some stuff. Because the last thing that we did together was For the King. And I would definitely like to get him on board. I will admit, I've been really, really hoping that... gosh, I should probably just give him a call or something. I've been really hoping that he will finally get Windows on his computer. He currently doesn't have Windows installed because he's still working on his PhD stuff. He's got a couple of papers left that I think he needed Linux for. And so I'm really hoping he can switch over to Windows. Because the game I really want to play with my brother is like... I really want to play Deep Rock Galactic with him. Because back when we were in high school, my brother didn't get invited to an after-prom party. I think he was a little upset about that, but instead what happened was, I was a college student. I must have already been back or something. Was it prom or was it graduation? But effectively, my brother wasn't invited to go to an after-prom party. I think that's exactly what it was. I think just we had prom late in the year. Or maybe I was on, maybe it was on break. But effectively, he came back early because his girlfriend at the time could not stay out late anyway. And we just played the entirety of Left 4 Dead 2 late into the evening. Okay, we have nothing more to do here. Let's leave this strange place. Oh, we found Adam Nostris. Of course. I'm too old for this nonsense. Wait, who are you? You must be very brave to face the armies of a god alone. Oh yes, the adventurer. I gave you a Slorm Reaper, so I'm a little confused. I think I've got another little something that might help you. Come see me when you get back to the village. Hooray! Let's get out of here. I've been huge on Deep Rock Galactic lately. Love it. Got it during the 3rd anniversary event. And, like, it's super tempting for me to just say, like, I'm just gonna play this. Okay. You're going to laugh. I just remembered something. To get to the crypt of the McRips, we need the keys to the crypt. I had them a little further away. We'll have to think about getting them back. Alright, let's go back to Adam Nostris. And what if you play Back for Blood when it comes out with him? See, that's my hope, because I absolutely want to do some more co-op stuff. I love Wholesome vs. Live, but it's very competitive, and I'd like to do more co-op days just because. Kind of like what we do with Valheim. There you are. I have a small reward for you, to thank you for getting me out of there. Something called ancestral stones in my possession that allow you to draw from the power of the ancestral champions. Here's one for you. The ancestral stones are very useful, but not to me, and I'm not going to hand them over to you for free either, so I have a deal for you. Well, here it is. I have a passion for fashion and trendy accessories. The problem is this is very difficult to find some around here. Here's my offer. You bring me some super trendy clothes and accessories, I'll give you new ancestral stones. Great! To begin with, when I was locked up inside the breach, I saw a magnificent hat on the head of a necromancer who was roaming around the graveyard. I need that hat. I'll give you a new ancestral stone if you bring it back to me. Good luck. Well, at least we got one, and we'll get more. Okay, use one of the slots available to enshrine an ancestral stone to unlock access to the associated skills and passives. You can move your ancestral stone into other slots at any point. Alright, so now we can just get a thing. That's awesome. So something similar to what you did with Rito and Synthetic? Yep, exactly. Because I thrive off of cooperation.